We all come in with our own perspective, and I come in as a mom to see these children who have no family. They don't have a mom. Many of them have never been hugged. They've never felt loved.
Every day we saw children who had lost hope, had nothing, absolutely nothing.
I thought I understood poverty. I thought I understood what poverty was and what that looked like. But I don't think I could have imagined what real poverty looked like until I saw it in the faces of the orphans.
You see abject poverty like you've never seen it before, and it will break your heart.
They'll say, I felt like because I was suffering so much and my parents had passed away and I was beaten by others, that I was somehow beyond God's love. And that either God did not exist or perhaps God didn't like me.
Well, there's a woman here in Rwanda named Epiphany, and Epiphany, after the genocide and the terrible things that she saw and experienced, realized that she couldn't just go help orphans. She needed to help them to stand on their own 2 feet.
And what ZOE found out and discovered is that the children living in their own community, grouped together, can help each other to overcome the obstacles of poverty.
They are empowered with skills to care for themselves and for their siblings. They produce own food, they make own money, they no longer have to beg.
They come in with the ZOE group in the first year and they hear about hope and they hear about God and they hear about all these great things, and then they realize, hey, God loves me too. God's there for me too. And I think it's just filling them up with this hope, and then you see the heads lift from the first year to the third year.
Before you know it, they're a little community, but then they help one another. And if someone's down, they lift them up.
How can I help someone else? How can I draw someone else in? How can I help someone to come out of a similar situation that I was in?
It is amazing to say that because before being empowered, they have been abused. They have been exploited.
They become entrepreneurs, they start businesses, they start to be leaders in their community and leaders in their churches.
What incredible hope, what incredible joy to see in people that are still at the infant stages of being self-sufficient.
If they're going to be successful, they have to have hope. And the hope is there, and it's not, okay, I've gotten to this point, I've arrived. It's, you see the joy, the exuberance, and you can see Christ coming through, love coming through in their smiles and their faces. It's just magnificent.
Hope is something that we take for granted. So when you see hope, the hope that these kids have now, I found out in a very real way, it's through the love of God and the power of Jesus Christ.
What ZOE has been able to do is give them a future. ZOE has given them a dream that becomes a reality.
It breaks the cycle of poverty, the cycle of dependency for generations and generations, forever.
I was a hard sell on empowerment before I came here. It's hard to believe that the most vulnerable people in the world can become empowered, but I believe it now.
In fact, if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would have had a hard time really believing it. But I've seen it, and I know it's true. It's a model that, I tell you, we need to take everywhere.
These children have all the potential that God has given them. And so often in our missions, we limit what these children are able to do. What ZOE does is takes them seriously. It takes their abilities, it takes their hopes, it takes their dreams, and uses those to help them break into a new world.
I love ZOE, and I love seeing that joy on their faces as they see that they're not alone anymore. They're not by themselves. They don't have to be shunned. They don't have to be alone because they have someone else with them to share life with.
It's a powerful experience. Personally, I've never had any experience as transforming and moving in my entire ministry.
Some other hoping candidate, but she doesn't.
when they know how God loves them, when they know how Jesus died for them, and how good are the plans that God have for them, now it happens, they change. Thank you.
Our call to worship is to know that God is using us in this church more than you could ever imagine.
You know, they live in such a different environment than what we could even imagine, and yet they are happy, joyful people. And that sense of hope is so clear that there's nothing to feel sorry for. You know, they are going to be great. And how amazing is that?